So, yeah. And you know what's funny is that Kylo Ren in that film actually is the one who begins developing character, and then they kind of just, like, what you notice is over this new sequel trilogy, what I think would have been a good way to do this is if Kylo Ren was the character. He doesn't have to be the main character, but he's the character who tends to change the most in these films, and all of it's given to Rey, who oddly enough doesn't change at all. And you're like, oh, okay, I guess we're staying with this character. And in the last movie with Finn and Poe, you go, oh, okay, I guess nothing happens with them, nothing happens with Rey, a bunch happens with Kylo, and as like if you don't like Kylo Ren, I get that, but you can't deny that, like, the character itself is definitely changing from sequel to sequel, whereas the main character we have to follow does not change at all. And it's just like, man, what a sad way to do those 3 films. Because spoilers, Kylo gets his, and what's funny is it's called Rise of the Skywalker, and Kylo Ren is a Skywalker, and he begins his story of redemption, and then he dies. And you're like, okay, I guess we're done with this movie. I guess there will be no more Skywalkers rising. And then you got Rey at the end, he goes, I am a Skywalker, and you go, this defeats the entire purpose of the film. Or that's what it feels like. It just, she comes in, the only actual Skywalker left alive is Kylo Ren, and then he ends up just dying to save this new to save Rey, who's not a very strong character and has not a lot of redeeming qualities. And you go, all right, I guess this is movies. I guess this is what we got to end Star Wars on, which is really a bummer. Like, whatever you think about everything else is kind of sidestepped by the fact that the character just isn't good. And that's a bummer. I wish Rey was a better lead character, you know? It felt like what they were trying to do is rebuild, like, you know, your Han Solo, your Princess Leia. It's like they were trying to rebuild those character archetypes into the new cast, but the only one that made it out was the Darth Vader analog, because Darth Vader himself is already a strong character, or has a strong, like, bunch of characteristics to fall back on, because we've known that character for a super long time. So when you go, okay, well, here's the sidestep we did toward him, check it out, it's Kylo Ren. If you don't like him, well, guess what? Kylo Ren loves Darth Vader. Like, here it goes, check this out, dog. Here's your sidestep. And then you get the Luke Skywalker analog, and you go, okay, well, what's special about this person? You're like, well, they can do everything. And you're like, okay, well, what else? And they're like, well, remember how Luke learned how to pilot and shoot and all that stuff by his upbringing? And you go, yes. And they're like, well, she skips it, and she's a junker, and she does the stuff that Luke Skywalker does, and here you go. And I don't know, I don't think they should have gone across and just tried to follow it straight up. The more I think about the sequels, the more I go, man, what a bummer. Oh god, that's a bummer too. Like, I think I'm a bigger fan of the prequels than I am the sequels. And I know what you're thinking, but bro, it's probably because you watched those when you were younger, and you didn't discern which one was which, and which was a bad film. And I go, you're right, I did watch them when I was younger, but then again, I also watched them when I was older. And I think my thing is, because I would watch The Last Jedi, even though they kill, and I'm sure this has been repeated like a billion times everywhere else, without a shadow of a doubt, even though they kill Snoke, they try something new with a character. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some kind of new thing in Star Wars, which is great. It's not like a rehash of Star Wars, the original 3. Episode 7 and Episode 9, to me, they feel like a rehash of the old films. Like, I don't need a rehash of the old films. I already watched the old films a bunch of times. The prequels, at least, don't feel like a rehash. Do they feel ridiculous sometimes? Absolutely.
Turn back, Jedi.
No. Oh, she does have collision. You look at them and you go, okay, well, this is crazy, George Lucas. Why are you doing these things? But it doesn't feel like I've watched it before. It's definitely new. The sequels, I watched the Force Awakens and I said, this is old. I saw this movie in Episode 4. Like, why are we doing this again? And at least Episode 8 doesn't feel like that. But Episode 7 and 9 totally do. And Episode 1, 2, and 3, they don't feel like, oh, I've seen this movie again. Like, here I go again watching this same film. It feels like, oh, well, you know what? Here's at least something new. Is it ridiculous? Yeah, it's crazy. That's fine. I don't mind sitting through Senate hearings. It's pretty much what people do nowadays anyways for entertainment. George Lucas is on the money. He was just ahead of his time. Everyone's watching Senate hearings nowadays. It's how we do it, unfortunately. But yeah, boy, the sequels being rehashed of the old films, it's too bad. Okay, I can't squeeze through that. I thought I could. But... and not even, like, good new ideas of the old ones. It's a shame that it had to go out like that. Oh, dang it. Okay, well, what can I see? Huh. Oh, here we go. I don't know. Maybe if I, yeah. I don't think there's a good way that you could view Episode 9 and go, yup, that's a good way to end this trilogy. Which is like, I would hope that since this game came out so nice, that they would release Star Wars The Stories in this format. I feel like this is a much better way to release these stories, because I feel like what happens is that sometimes they can get too big, and it doesn't need to be that big most of the time.
This must be where the Knight brothers live.
You know? Nowadays I feel like everything has to be so big
No other choice.
that it almost has to happen so fast. Like, it's gotta be so big to lead into a franchise that it kind of takes away from the actual movie experience or the story that's trying to be conveyed. I think another good example, and you guys are going to leave this stream and just be like, wow, this guy has absolute garbage taste in movies. Or you could be like, wow, this guy, his movies may not be popular, but let me tell you a thing or two, he might have some pretty good points, and I hope it's the latter. Son of a bee sting almost fell off. Is that, yeah, what you think about that? Dodge. Oh, my body. Okay, I'm coming. Is that...
By the gate? Up here.
Fudge. Is that, as much as people don't like the DC films, I'm gonna give credit to Man of Steel. It is my favorite DC film that they have out. For it being like, you know, a full story in itself, where it's not set up to be sequel-y. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, and this is kind of what I feel like is missing in modern day, like, superhero movies and things like this, is that it's not set up to be, oh my god, here comes the formation of everything. You know what I'm saying? It's put itself in a position where it tells the story of Superman up to a point into the destruction of Metropolis. And, like, had Man of Steel been the last DC film, it would have still been a full film in itself without having to lead to a sequel. I feel like a lot of things nowadays, because they're trying to franchise themselves, let's take Justice League for an example. Oh no, let's take Batman v Superman. Because all of a sudden you have to franchise yourself, you can't take the risks that you could in a single film. And where the fudge you going? You can't take the risks that you could in a single film, and now you have to play safe to make sure that you can sequel yourself off multiple different directions. So that's where things start to fall flat.
Stop cowering in flight.
Bro, I'm right in your face. Because, like, let's be honest, what happens in Batman vs Superman that takes any kind of risks? Nothing, right? Like, they kill off Superman, they introduce Doomsday, they bring in Wonder Woman for 5 seconds, Batman is Batman, like, dang it, yeah, I should have rested after a second. There's so much that, because it has to set up a bunch of other movies, and, like, because we know this, it in itself cannot be its own film. And that's where a lot of current day things fall apart. And I feel like storytelling just has kind of gone out of the window for getting more sequels and more butts and seats and trying to build hype for it. I don't really know where you can, like, place blame in that regard. That's why I kind of didn't finish a lot of Marvel series, because a lot of Marvel films I'd watch and I'd go, oh wow, that was really good, I wonder how it's going to end. It's going to end towards a sequel, or it's going to end towards a collaboration, or since I was young I already knew a lot of things in the comic books, I was like, oh well, it's gonna end up leading to this, or it's gonna end up leading to that. And then it does, and I go, okay, well, I didn't get a satisfying ending because we were too busy trying to make sure that everything leads into the big team finale sequel. Which, I can't get behind sacrificing a good, coherent, single story for your sequels. That's too bad. I think Wonder Woman managed to kind of escape that because it takes space in a completely different time period. But like Aquaman, I don't think it escaped it. Shazam didn't escape it. Like, there's too much stuff that couldn't get away from that issue. Dang it. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Try number 2. There we go. And I feel like the more movies can get back to getting away from this need a franchise, need a sequel business, the better off everyone's going to end up being in the long run. So, I hope it happens pretty soon, because boy, I'm tired of having to live through franchises. Every single thing is like, hey bro, are you ready for the sequel? And I go, no, don't give me a sequel, please. Just give me a good thing. I don't want to start The Hobbit and realize that I know I'm going to spend 6 more hours with these characters who I may or may not like. Oh god. It's just the worst. So, I feel like that's also what you risk. Is if I don't like a character and I know I'm going to have to spend more time with that character in the next film, and they're a main character, like, oh boy, am I really not going to want to spend time with that character? You know? Does it sink your movie? No. Does it make me interested in your film when I see them again? It makes me less interested. Like, let's take, you take the Amazing Spider-Man, right? and they put Gwen Stacy in there. And I said, what's the point of me watching this and getting invested in Gwen Stacy when they're going to kill off Gwen Stacy? Like, we all know that Gwen Stacy dies in the clock tower because of Green Goblin. Like, it's Clue. Green Stacy dies in the clock tower, or she dies from falling by Peter Parker, who kills her with a spider web. Or with his webs, with his web. If you don't know that, I'm sorry I spoiled it. It's been so many decades that it's happened.
Come on, BD.
But the minute Emma Stone was like, I'm Gwen Stacy, I said, you're dead. Sorry. This just became a story where I know that you're about to get murdered super hard. Either in the first one or the second one.
These vines are too creepy for Grease, but it's Grease.
And it just kind of stops the whole franchise thing. You go, oh god, what's gonna happen? Who cares? Gwen Stacy's gonna die. She's a character I don't even really like. She's not anything huge. So I know some Spider-Man fans are gonna be like, bro, are you serious right now? You don't like Gwen Stacy? She ain't something huge? Let me show you my Gwen Stacy poster. Yeah, I get it. We all got love for different characters. That's fine. Like, let me tell you about Wally West. A lot of people don't like. Well, okay, that's a lie. Everyone should love Wally West. Not the new 52 Wally West. Don't get me wrong. You should like the old school Wally West from when he was Kid Flash all the way up to when he took over the mantle of the Flash from Barry White. Oh, from Barry White. From Barry Allen. I was in my brain. There's a lot of tunes that always play. But yeah, like, there's just a lot that happens when you start to franchise it and you start to put characters into it where you don't need to. And like, they already was trying to build the Sinister Six before they'd even finished their movie. Like, how are you gonna build up the Sinister Six when you haven't even finished your first film, guys? Like, relax. Just cut it out. Get some good, solid stories under your belt.
This was an arena once. The Knight Brothers only respect those with power.
Before you get crazy, you know? Like, Jesus Christ. Excuse you, zombie. What? Speaking of zombies, let me talk about Zombieland 2 that came out. I didn't watch it. End of story. It looked terrible. I saw the preview and I said, this movie's a decade too late. And I hope everyone else said the exact same thing. And if you didn't, I don't know what to say.
Over here, BD.
That's fine. I would say shame on you, but what's the point? I watched Pacific Rim 2. We're all guilty of our own crimes.
Ship crash. You were fleeing from something.
But yeah, that looks like a terrible movie.
See what you found?
And man, it's too bad. And that's what I'm talking about. Franchises, don't do it. My boy Woody Harrelson gets pulled into it and you go, come on, man. Don't do it. Don't do it, Woody. You don't need to. You're better than this. What? That is a vicious noise. That was terrifying. Oh, dear Lord. No. No, get off me, get off me, get off me. Oh, God. No. Slow down, Chief.
Need assist.
Where you at, guy? You want some of this? Nailed it. Yeah, I think Zombieland's a good one. It came in, it set itself up to be done, and then it couldn't get out. I mean, it did get out, and then it came back for seconds. It's like when you're playing League of Legends and someone gets out, and they're living, and you're like, wow, good job, that was good engagement. You totally lived, it was great. And then they come back in and die, and you go, wow, you need to stop.
Nice. That's
exactly how I felt about Zombieland 2 when I saw it. I went, wow, you need to just back the fudge up, my guys. You were doing fantastic. People were still talking about the double tap. You guys, rule number whatever, buckle up your seatbelt, do cardio, and then all of a sudden here you come in, repeating the same old shenanigans. I don't think so, guys. You're better than this. I was gonna say Michael Eisenberg, but it's Jesse Eisenberg. You can do better. I believe in you. I don't know about anyone else. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen Woody Harrelson in a lot of films recently, but you know what? I think, like, he's been in so much stuff that he can be retired, you know? I guess he can do those kinds of films where you go, I'm gonna be in a bad sequel of a movie that was great. I mean, shoot. If I was an actor, I might do it. At that age, you're just like, yeah, man, I'm Woody Harrelson. I do what I do best. I think that's kind of respectable that you know that you're that retired, that we all know that he's just doing it for a paycheck. He's like, I need a new truck. What can I say? And I'll be like, yeah. Alright. I guess we all need new trucks sometimes. I mean, I can only get a new car every like once every 10 years. But hey, that's fine. At least we all know our own limits. And that's what's important. Oh, you know what's a bad franchise?
Leader mother. She used powerful magic.
Here, guys, how about we come this way? And we go that way. Oh, I got it. My bad, guys. And a slow. Like, Resident Evil didn't know when to get out. You had Resident Evil 1, and it made no sense. And then you got Resident Evil 2, and they introduced Jill Valentine. And you go, oh, okay. And then you got Resident Evil. Oh, no. No thanks. Trouble. Yeah, no doubt.
Do not let him evade you. Come, brothers.
Don't. Because they were like, hey, have you heard of Nemesis? And you're like, yeah. I've played the games. Thank you for asking. And like, but do you want to see the live action version of him? And you go, I guess if it's a good costume. And then it wasn't. It was really weird. And I can respect the attempt. But, yeah, this is a very odd sequel. I don't remember 3 and 4 because I watched them all I watched all 6 in the span of 12 hours or something, so they all blend together like all the Friday the 13th one, but that's a franchise that didn't need to exist, especially in its own little bubble. Like, it definitely could have been a thing where it exists in the realm of Resident Evil with its own characters and you follow the characters, but when it follows its own like original fanfic character that runs into all the main characters, like, you didn't need to do that. Had you followed Chris Redfield from the first Outbreak, I think that would have been fantastic. Right, you followed Leon Kennedy, that would have been great. Or had the Resident Evil movies been like conducive to anything in the Resident Evil games that made sense, that'd have been a good call. But since it follows the adventures of Mia Jovovich as Alice, it really kind of starts to fall apart when, like, everywhere, I guess is a good way to put it. I'm trying to be as nice as I can about it, but like, it doesn't hold up in any spots, and it falls apart constantly. And she has psychic powers, and then she doesn't, and then she has super strength, and then she gets it taken away from her, and then psych, he put fake super strength. And you're just like, what is going on in these films? Why are we trying to continue these movies? Just stop. Just stop. I think for the next 3 years, no one gets a sequel. No one's allowed to sequel bait. Everything has to be done. In and out. No more to be continueds. It's all done. If they make a new Blade movie, like they were talking about before with that one guy who's replacing Wesley Snipes, and I was like, yeah, well, alright. As long as you're, you know, as tough as the Snipes, I think you're good to go. And then they revealed him, and I don't know if he's gonna be as tough as the Snipes. I sure hope so, but that's a big bar. You know? It's hard to pull off a line like some mother trucker's always trying to ice skate uphill. You know, that's tricky to say with confidence and pull off and then be like, and we're passing the torch to that man over there. You know, new Blade movie, whether it's amazing or terrible, not allowed to have a sequel. Sorry, I'm calling it right now. Cut it out with your sequels, guys. Only if people are clamoring in the stands, and only if you have a fantastic idea can you go, guys, here comes Blade 2. Daywalker Boogaloo, I don't know. But here it comes. Like, that's the only way I'm gonna accept a sequel of Blade. Is if everyone goes, oh my god, this is amazing, and it just has global praise everywhere. Not global praise like Black Panther. That movie's trash. And let me tell you why. Because it's actually 2 movies in one, and neither movie gets fleshed out. That's why I don't appreciate Black Panther. You know what? I'm gonna be a hypocrite right now and say it. Black Panther should have been Black Panther 1 with Killmonger, and Black Panther 2 with Michael B. Jordan. That should have been 2 films, and I probably would have frickin' thought it was great.
Seeds. I hope he met from Dathomir.
Or, well, not great, but I would have been like, yeah, that's a film. But because it has 2 villains and tries to tell 2 separate stories, and I go, oh no, you're not doing this very well. And then I kind of fell off. Anyway, back to Blade. If it's amazing, which I hope it is, because man, as a small child I wanted to be Wesley Snipes because he was dope in Demolition Man, and he was dope in Blade, and he was dope in Tu Wong Fu. You know what I'm saying? You can't judge a Snipes for going drag and pulling it off so well. You know, you're like, does this man do it on his off times? If he did, shoot, I'm gonna start doing it on my off time. But to be the Snipes, dangerous man. But yeah, the minute I saw Blade, oh man, I was throwing everything around my room. Like from that very first scene, my mom was like, what is happening in here? Why are your Legos all over the floor? What have you built over here? And I go, it's the Blade glaive. Check it. And there went my Lego privileges. But yeah, if I don't lose my Lego privileges from this new Blade, and it gets a sequel, I'm gonna be bummed out. I'm gonna be real bummed. I'm talking about sequels so much I've lost my way. Oh. Sorry guys, it's actually this way. I was on the right path and I totally lost the path. I got distracted by talking about sequels and what needs a sequel and what doesn't need a sequel. You know what I want to see get a franchise? And here's what I want. I want to see romantic comedies get franchises. I don't watch rom-coms or chick flicks or whatever you want to call them. But do they deserve franchises? Absolutely. And I'm not talking like the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. I'm talking like I want to see Failure to Launch with Matthew McConaughey and Sarah Michelle, with that one woman whose name escapes me, Matthew Broderick's wife, with those two, and I want to. Gee, wow, that's a weird physics bug. Actually, that's kind of cool. What in the fudge is happening here? There we go. Yeah, I want to see Failure to Launch, and then Failure to Launch 2, and Failure to Launch 3, and Failure to Launch 4, all the way up until like Matthew McConaughey's like 60. So he goes from like hot young Matthew McConaughey all the way through the stages of life and like midlife crisis, and then, sorry, I got a cough. All right, we're back. And like all the way through all of those stages, and like maybe his parents die and he goes through like the 6 stages of grief, all failing to launch. And here's Matthew Broderick's wife still trying to get him to fall in love with her and leave the house. That's what I want in my rom-com franchises. I think we should all just signed, sealed, delivered. That's what needs to happen, Hollywood. Listen to your boy Antonius Rex. Do it. Don't even do it sarcastically. Do it like super legit. Like call up Matthew McConaughey, be like, bro, I know you were great in some of your other films, but hear me out. Get ready to not launch all the time. That's what needs to happen. God, this jump needs to happen. Alright, wait. I can't get to the rest stop. Maybe I can. Hold on, is there something over here? Or, let's see. What's other romantic comedy? I don't know. Coming to America? No. Coming to America is not a romantic comedy. On date nights, I have watched Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. I think that's the best romantic comedy anyone can watch. That's my go-to. But, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, people go, oh man, how about a date night? How about a romantic film? Alright, I got you, Chief. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. It's got brotherly love. It's got a new man stepping out of his bubble. It's got people finding new purposes in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got that same girl likes guy and guy likes girl, and then girl leaves other dude for other dude who doesn't seem like he'd get the girl. You know, it's got all that romantic comedy garbage that I don't sit through.
Only death awaits you here.
But yeah. Oh well, we could have just stopped there. I think that's a good way to do it, guys. I think we're gonna end on that because I need to get some food and probably watch Tucker and Dale vs. Evil now that I'm thinking about it. But I will definitely be back later. Alright guys, thanks for checking it out. Have a good one.